Welcome, young explorers, to Curious Minds, the channel where learning is an adventure. I'm Professor Witty, and I'm here to take you on a journey through the fascinating worlds of social studies, science, history, and so much more. Are you ready to dive into the wonders of knowledge? Let's go! Welcome, Curious Minds. Today, we embark on a fascinating journey into the heart of nature, exploring the wondrous world of the plant life cycle. From the humble beginnings of a tiny seed to the grandeur of blooming flowers. Join me in examining the secrets behind each phase, unlocking the mysteries of growth, reproduction, and adaptation. Are you ready to dive deep into the captivating story of plant life? Let's sow the seeds of curiosity together. Today on our journey into the wonders of nature, we'll begin with the fascinating world of seed germination. Have you ever wondered how a tiny seed transforms into a vibrant plant? Or how the forests filled with all those ginormous trees got there? Join me as we examine the magical steps of this process, exploring the secrets of growth and life. Seed germination is the process by which a seed develops into a new plant. It involves several key components. Let's break those down. First, the seed absorbs water, causing it to swell. This activates enzymes that break down stored food in the seed into sugars. These sugars provide energy for the growing embryo. Next, the outer seed coat softens and the root emerges. These first roots are called radicle and anchor the plant into the ground. The growing roots use water and nutrients in the soil to turn the seed into what is called a seedling. As the root continues to grow, it pulls nutrients from the soil and a shoot emerges. This tender shoot is called plumule and is responsible for carrying the young leaves toward the sunlight. The plant then continues to grow and develop, eventually producing its own food through a process called photosynthesis, which I will break down in further detail later. Let's quickly recap what we've learned about the first few stages of the plant life cycle. The seed or embryo stage is where a plant's life cycle begins. Next, seed germination is the stage in which the seed sprouts roots and shoot to become a young plant known as a seedling. It's a part of the enchanting process of the plant life cycle. When a tiny seed transforms into a young plant, water triggers the seed to swell, unlocking stored energy for the growing embryo. Roots and shoots emerge, seeking nutrients and sunlight while the plant embarks on a journey of growth and photosynthesis. Here we are at our next stop. Vegetative growth. This is a pivotal phase in the plant life cycle where the plant transitions from a tender young plant to a thriving adult. Characterized by burgeoning leaves to intricate root systems, this stage sets the foundation for a plant's future. Let's explore the factors influencing this dynamic process, unraveling the secrets of robust and healthy vegetative growth. Vegetative growth is a crucial phase in the plant life cycle where the focus is on developing stems, leaves, and roots. During this phase, plants undergo photosynthesis to produce energy for growth. Factors like light, nutrients, and water play key roles in promoting healthy vegetative growth. It's the stage preceding flowering and reproduction and is typically characterized by rapid development. I think now is a great time to talk more about the process of photosynthesis. Imagine plants as nature's superheroes equipped with a special power called photosynthesis. In this incredible process taking place in their leaves, plants harness sunlight, water, and air to create their own food and provide us with a life-sustaining gift. Let's embark on a journey into the magical world of photosynthesis and uncover how these green superheroes grow, thrive, and contribute to the air we breathe. Let's take a look at this video to get a better idea how it works. Plants use their leaves to catch sunlight, just like how you might use a solar panel to catch sunlight for energy. Through tiny tubes in their stems and leaves, plants sip water from the ground like they're drinking through straws. Plants also breathe in air, but instead of inhaling oxygen like we do, they take in carbon dioxide from the environment around them. Now comes the magical part. Inside the leaves, there are tiny factories called chloroplasts. These factories use sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide to cook up a special kind of food called glucose. The glucose made during this process is like a yummy meal for the plant. It helps them grow, make flowers, and produce fruits. As a bonus, while cooking up glucose, plants release oxygen into the air. This oxygen is what we breathe, and it's crucial for us and many other living things. Well, curious minds, there you have it. That's the magic of photosynthesis. The transition from vegetative growth to flowering and reproduction is a fascinating process driven by intricate signaling within the plant. As environmental conditions such as changes in day length, temperature, and hormonal cues orchestrate this shift in the growing plant, and it undergoes a remarkable transformation into a floral symphony. This change marks the initiation of the flowering phase, where the once green and leafy plant now directs its energy toward the development of intricate and purposeful structures, flowers. The flowering stage of a plant's life cycle is called reproduction or flowering phase. During this phase, the plant produces flowers. These flowers are not just ornamental, they house the essential reproductive organs, both the male and the female flowers. Let's take a look at this flower diagram to get a better understanding of what takes place inside of a flower during the reproductive stage of the plant life cycle. Flowers house the essential reproductive organs needed to reproduce, called stamens and pistils. The stamen produces pollen grains containing the male gametes, while the pistil cradles the ovary where female gametes reside. Once the pollen reaches the pistil and fertilization occurs, the plant invests all its energy into nurturing seeds within the protective confines of the ovary. What was once a mere flower bud transforms into a magnificent fruit. But how exactly does the pollen reach the seeds to fertilize them nestled deep in the ovary of the flower? Through a wondrous process called pollination. This process is crucial for plant reproduction, and it can occur through various agents. Wind pollination, or anemophily, occurs when plants rely on the wind to carry pollen from the male flowers to the female flowers. These plants typically produce large quantities of lightweight and small pollen grains. As the wind blows, it carries the pollen through the air, and when it lands on the stigma of a compatible flower, pollination takes place. Wind pollination is common in grasses, trees like pine and oak, and certain flowers that lack showy petals. Insect pollination, or entomophily, involves the transfer of pollen between flowers by insects. Many plants have co-evolved with insects to achieve efficient pollination. Bees, butterflies, beetles, and other insects are attracted to flowers by their colors, scents, and nectar. As they feed on nectar, pollen sticks to their bodies. When they visit another flower, some of this pollen is transferred, facilitating the fertilization process. This mutualistic relationship benefits both plants and insects, ensuring successful reproduction for the plants and a food source for the insects. Insects aren't the only live actors of pollination. Bird pollination, or ornithophily, is another way pollen is exchanged between male and female flowers. It involves the transfer of pollen between flowers by birds. Flowers adapted for bird pollination often have bright, vibrant colors, a tubular shape, and produce copious amounts of nectar. Birds, especially hummingbirds, are attracted to these features. As they feed on nectar, their heads come into contact with the reproductive parts of the flower, transferring pollen. This interaction facilitates pollination, contributing to the reproduction of the plant. Bird-pollinated plants are often found in regions where insect activity is limited or less effective. Water pollination, known as hydrophily, is less common than insect or bird pollination, but still worth mentioning. It occurs in aquatic plants where water is the medium for transporting pollen. Some plants release their pollen directly into the water, and the currents help carry it to the female flowers. In other cases, the male and female flowers are brought into contact by water movement. Water pollination is typically found in submerged or floating aquatic plants and is adapted to environments where other pollination methods are impractical. As you can see, pollination is a vital process for plant reproduction, ensuring the continuation of various species. Whether facilitated by wind, insects, water, or birds, each method plays a unique role in the dynamic world of the plant's reproductive stage. From the lightweight pollen carried by the wind to the vibrant flowers attracting birds, nature has developed intricate relationships to ensure the success of pollination and maintain the health of ecosystems. After seed fertilization, the fertilized ovule develops into a seed within the ovary of the flower. The ovary typically transforms into a fruit, protecting and nourishing the developing seeds. As the fruit matures, it may undergo various changes in color, size, and texture. When the fruit is fully mature, it undergoes a process called seed dispersal. This can happen in various ways, such as being carried by wind, water, animals, or even exploding to scatter seeds. The goal of seed dispersal is to ensure that the seeds are spread away from the parent plant, increasing the chances of the seeds finding suitable conditions for germination and growth. Once a seed lands in a favorable environment, it can germinate. The seedling then develops roots, stems, and leaves, eventually growing into a mature plant, thus repeating the processes of the plant life cycle all over again. Isn't it fascinating? Before we end this adventure, let's quickly review what we've learned about the mesmerizing plant life cycle.
3 hours later.
The cycle begins and ends with a tiny seed. When the seed is germinated, the seed begins to grow, and a seedling emerges and starts to photosynthesize. The plant undergoes a period of vegetative growth, focusing on building roots, stems, and leaves. Once mature, the plant produces flowers, a crucial stage for reproduction. Pollination of the female flower from the male flower leads to fertilization. After successful pollination, the ovary of the flower develops into a fruit. Seeds form within the fruit. Finally, the mature fruit releases seed, which can now be dispersed. And alas, the cycle begins anew when the dispersed seeds find a suitable environment and germination occurs. As we conclude our exploration of the plant life cycle, we hope you've cultivated a newfound appreciation for the intricate dance of nature. Remember, curious minds, the world around us is teeming with wonders waiting to be discovered. Stay curious, keep exploring, and nurture the seeds of knowledge in your minds. Until next time, this is Professor Witty saying, put down your electronic devices and go touch some grass. Oh, I almost forgot. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and hit that post notification bell so you don't miss out on any upcoming adventures.